Humpty are the same type of cow. This is Emmanuel, do not do it. Emmanuel, don't do it. Emmanuel, don't do it. I'm trying to educate people right now, okay? Can you just stop? Can you inches tall? Emmanuel, every time. Emmanuel, don't do it. Emmanuel, don't do it. Emmanuel, don't do it. Emmanuel, don't choose violence today. Please, every day we go through this. Gosh. Okay, so a lot of you from yesterday's video asked about Ferdinand, and this is Ferdinand. Emmanuel, leave it alone. Emmanuel, don't do it. Emmanuel, think about it. Think about it. Make smart choices. Emmanuel.
They fired me today for spreading the truth. Should I post everything?
Stuff like this. Just put it here. Plastic and all. Don't even matter. Plastic, cardboard boxes, pallets, everything's grounded into this right here. And that right there is cooked at like 1,000 degrees in there. Then I'll show you the rest of the process in a minute.
Y'all believe me now.
Go up the line to that big shit called a grinder. And it grinds it out and turn it into that shit. And then the hog eats it. This is what it looked like when it's done. The hog eat it, and then you eat the hog. Boom, boom, boom. How you say that? I got a little, yeah, I mean. And for those of y'all who say they pick the trash out, the boxes don't be in there. Oh yeah.
I have a little box here, which you may recognize, even if it's a distance. It's nothing more or less than the box that the Colgate toothpaste comes in. Did you know that every toothpaste, no matter just Colgate, any toothpaste that has fluoride in it has the following warning printed on the box as well as on the tube? Did you know there was a warning on those tubes? A lot of people didn't. It's in tiny, tiny print, so I just printed it out for myself so I could read it easily. It says, warnings. Keep out of the reach of children under 6 years of age. Don't you want to teach your kids to brush their teeth? Keep out of you can't give them toothpaste. But you're told that they need the fluoride so that they get healthy teeth and no cavities, aren't you? Well, listen to this. If more than is used for brushing is accidentally swallowed, mind you, kids don't have the capability yet of spitting out this toothpaste. If it's but they flavor it like candy, they make it look like candy. If it's accidentally swallowed, get medical help or contact the Poison Control Center right away. Do you think it's good for you to put poison in your mouth? Even if you spit it out, the mouth and the mucous membrane in the mouth is highly absorptive. Use only a pea-sized amount and supervise the child's brushing and rinsing to minimize swallowing. They tell you don't swallow it, don't let your kids swallow it. It's poison. And if they do, they contact the Poison Control Center. But they fluoridate your water. More than 52% of American states and cities have now fluoridated water. Why? It doesn't do a thing to help your teeth or your children's teeth.
Rooted Wings on Instagram. Nathan Fletcher, I tagged the heck out of you, so I'm sure that you are very familiar with me. Jim Desmond, thank you for your work. Wilma Wooten, this is also directed at you along with Nathan Fletcher. America is not a hospital. California is not a hospital. San Diego, it's not a hospital. This is a constitutional republic that guarantees protection of individual freedom and liberty and due process. This applies to our individual pursuits of medical interventions and health practices. San Diego is not a hospital floor that we collectively have checked into that subjects all patients to equitably prescribed medical care with no due process. Our Constitution does not secure for government power to impose forced equity in medical mandates and interventions or the power to punish carte blanche. There are 3.338 million people in San Diego County, 3,811 people who have died with COVID. Of those, 96%, 3,652 had comorbidities with hypertension, diabetes, cardiac disease accounting for the top three. Median age 77. That is a total fatality rate of 0.1%. 3.338 million people. That is a clear affinity for a specific vulnerable age and health demographic with majority fatalities prior to available treatment options and prevention. 91% of San Diegans, 60-69, received the injection. 98%, 70-79, received the injection. We remove consent from treating us like we are patients in a hospital ward. We are done. The consent of the governed is removed. We will not comply. We do not consent. Nathan Fletcher, you are on notice. We will constitutionally remove all petty tyrants beginning now.
Your time is up. Thank you. Next speaker.
Let's talk a little bit about Israel, because I know that that is something we all care about. Shomer Yisrael. It's one of the most important things I do, to watch, be the guardian of Israel. First and foremost, Barack Obama has been a supporter and a believer in Israel from before he was in the Senate. You can look it up and see the record. And you know who got him started in politics? Not in the presidential. That's everyone, as I said, says the right thing. But before that, it was the two leading Jewish families of Chicago.
Just a few days away from a major strike of more than 90,000 freight rail workers. And even if you don't use a train to commute to work or for vacation, this strike, if it happens, will impact all of us. Why? According to the federal government, this strike could bring nearly 30% of our country's freight to a grinding halt. In case you didn't know, a lot of the stuff that we consume and buy and eat travels through train throughout our country. But if there's no one to work those trains or manage those tracks, guess what? Store shelves could go empty, factories won't get the parts they need, prices may start to go up, and the supply chain starts to break down again, not to mention the critical deliveries to wastewater treatment, and utility plants won't show up. Let's just say it would be bad. And in anticipation of this strike, we're already starting to see freight carriers limiting their service, suspending some shipments, and parking trains. Even passenger carriers like Amtrak, which uses freight lines, has started to cancel some long-distance routes ahead of this potential strike. Amtrak has also started to warn its passengers to start preparing themselves to make other travel plans in the coming days. So why is this happening? Well, rail carriers and worker unions have been at odds for months over unpaid leave and how employee schedules are created. Railroad workers are under a different labor law than most workers at normal businesses. So 2 months ago, to avoid a strike, then President Biden was able to step in and impose what's called a cooling off period, while the Presidential Emergency Board sort of researched what was going on and came up with a proposed settlement. Well, as of today, neither side has agreed to that settlement, which is less than the unions wanted, but more than the carriers wanted to pay. Congress could also step in here and do something to avoid a strike, but that's pretty unlikely with what's been going on with Congress lately. The deadline to avoid a railroad strike is 12:01 a.m. Eastern on September 16th.
What does Hitler, JFK, Lincoln, Gaddafi, Napoleon, Julius Caesar, Tsar Nicholas II have in common? They all tried to do state banking and they all got either killed or thrown into a war.
I'm not allowed to record. Isn't this a public street?
It is, but actually I don't like it to be on a video.
I can take it off.
You have your documents on the phone. Take it off, please. Yeah. Do you want to take a picture of it? Yes.
We're doing everybody safe.
Drop it. Your iPhone. You can show me and then I can. Can you put your hand away?
Sorry?
Can you put your phone away?
Am I not allowed to film? Why not?
Not during the police conference.
Why is that?
It's not allowed here.
On the public street?
Yes.
Is that a law in Switzerland?
Here is not allowed. Please put it away.
Not familiar with that law.
Please put it away.
Seems like you just don't want me to film.
Sir, please put it away.
Okay.
The government wants is slaves. Slavery's not gone anywhere, right? So the old school idea of slavery, let's talk about slavery. A government would get slaves, make them work for free and build things. That's slavery. So they've stopped doing that now. So what do they do now? They get people, make them build things for money, but the government print all the money. So if a government can create as much as they want of something from thin air, and you'll give up your life for this thing they can create from thin air as much as they want, you are still their slave. That's it. You used to be a slave and you'd work all day and at the end you got food in the house. Now you work all day, you get money, and you spend all your money on food and a house. Like, nothing, slavery is still here, my friends. Nothing's changed, right?